17% of you believe that our girl Bismuth built the temple statue.
I'm your daddy. Remember me? I'm gonna have to kill you.
I mean, come on peeps, how could Bismuth have built the temple statue at a point in the timeline when the woman was literally hidden away?
In a bubble! Right.
Yeah, we should be able to safely come to the conclusion that Bismuth most likely didn't have anything to do with the construction or even the planning of the temple statue, because as peeps like Delta, Trey, and Rain pointed out, the temple statue was specifically designed to look like the very first version of Obsidian.
Then let's fuse. All four of us. It's the only way we're gonna get up to her head. I'm in.
I'm in too.
Then it's decided. It's time to form Obsidian.
And this would have been a bit of an impossible challenge for our girl Bismuth to pull off without hardcore time travel, because the crystal gems were only able to form Obsidian in the first place after meeting up with our girl Amethyst, and Amy would only join the team after the gem war had already ended.
Wow, a total stranger.
In short, Bismuth never met Amethyst until the present day, so that also has to mean that the woman sadly never got the opportunity to meet the original version of Obsidian since Rose Quartz took her out before the climax of the Gem War.
They're huge!
But wait! There's more!
You bubbled me away and didn't ever tell your friends. My friends.
So if Bismuth, one of the original members of the Crystal Gems, who explained to our boy Steven that she was specifically designed to have been a construction worker for the Gem Empire, didn't construct the temple statue, then who did and why?
Steven, this is so real. It's like it was written by someone who lived it.
It was!
Well, we of course have two other possible suspects, with the most popular one voted in by the vast majority of you being Obsidian herself, and the least popular suspect being the founder of Beat City, also known as William Dewey, who was sailing across the ocean with his first mate Buddy Budwick, someone who we'd learn a lot more about during the intriguing events of a season 4 episode titled Buddy's Book.
Oh, you know I wrote this play.
Now, while one of these suspects is naturally light years more popular than the other, I'm convinced that William Dewey and Obsidian herself are both equally realistic possibilities for the architect behind the temple statue, and you probably will too.
Hey, Pearl. Pearl?
Steven, you're back.
Yeah. Show business is rough.
Is there something I can help you with?
So yeah, in case you haven't put these massive details together yet, then the crystal gems could have only formed Obsidian after the gem war had long ended, which also has to mean that they were insanely busting the colossal woman out of their arsenal to deal with, you know, run-of-the-mill corrupted gems.
Now my boat will sink into the depths. Dewey the disastrous dunce. What's this?
Well, not exactly run-of-the-mill, I suppose, because based on the events of a season 2 episode titled Historical Friction, it seems like there were corrupted gems out there who stood about as tall as Obsidian or Alexandrite, and we'll get to exposing the true identity behind the fusion in this episode real soon, but there's just one incy-wincy problem with this. Yeah, I mean, there very clearly weren't any corrupted gems who stood about as tall as Obsidian or Alexandrite, because they'd basically be as tall as a freaking diamond, right? So what in the universe is going on here?
Oh, it heads this way! Oh please, goddess of noogies, don't hurt me! Whoa! I've made it!
Alright, so to kick things off, the community have been arguing for a little over a decade now about the identity behind the giant woman in Historical Friction, and for understandable reasons. Obsidian has 8 arms, Alexandrite has 6 arms, but the fusion presented on stage during Historical Friction had 4 arms. So she had to have been Opal or Sardonyx then, right?
If you ever have need of the lovely Sardonyx, let Pearl and Garnet know. I'll be there in a flash. Literally.
Well, no, while Pearl notably helped Steven during the beginning of this episode to rewrite Mayor Dewey's play to be more historically accurate,
I can tell. It's so gritty, so passionate, so...
Historically accurate?
Steven himself would have admitted on multiple occasions to have taken a ton of creative liberties when it came to what was said and what was shown on screen during the play.
Let's put on this version of the play.
But how? We'd need new costumes, new props. We have no time.
And I don't know if you can tell, but I wrote the jokes.
And this makes a ton of sense, right? Because if you take a closer look at the play itself, then the corrupted gem who attacked William and Buddy was literally just our girl Centipeetle. Most likely because of the fact that Nephrite had to have been one of the biggest corrupted gems that Steven had seen up until that point in the show, and ever.
Think like a monster.
Steven taking creative liberties with the main antagonist of the play perfectly explains how the cardboard cutout of the fusion on screen could have actually been Obsidian or Alexandrite, despite the fact that they were only shown to have had 4 arms. Now, as much as I'd like to tell you that the fusion was actually the first version of Obsidian all along, since that would make for such a cool reveal, I can't, because Pearl would make it very clear to William and Buddy, or Jamie playing Pearl would make it very clear to William and Buddy that Rose Quartz simply just wasn't present during this interaction for some reason, which leads me to believe that the fusion was probably Alexandrite. But if you want to believe that Steven kept it historically accurate for the design of said fusion, then she could have also been our girl Opal.
And I come to you as a messenger of the brilliant Rose Quartz!
Moving on, after William Dewey would get rescued by this mysterious giant woman who literally had Obsidian's dark hands, mind you, so yeah, she gently directs them to Beat City, which very intriguingly didn't have a temple statue built on it yet. Now, the exclusion of a temple statue never beat in itself during this play doesn't necessarily prove that the thing wasn't built yet, because as we've already explained, Steven and Jamie took a couple of creative liberties when it came to the set design of this play, so it's possible that the two of them used the only background of a beach that was available to them under such short notice.
This is all very nice, but it doesn't solve the mystery.
So yeah, if you want to believe that the temple statue wasn't built yet, then the idea is that William Dewey was rescued by Obsidian after all, as in the crystal gems returned with Rose Quartz sometime after the initial warning to the sailors to turn back failed, which led Obsidian to taking out the corrupted gem, inspiring the founder of Beat City to build a statue around the gem temple for the crystal gems as a way of remembering this event and making history forever. I mean, the temple statue is notably striking an incredibly similar pose to Steven's cardboard cutouts, so it's entirely possible that Pearl just straight up told the guy that this was meant to have been the origin story behind the temple statue from the beginning, but yeah, we just can't say for sure. Anyway, the most popular answer on this poll was Obsidian herself, and I'm not spending all that much time explaining why, because we just don't have that much evidence to support this possibility. Don't get me wrong, I understand the general idea. Obsidian could have used her lava powers in some way to build the temple statue, or she could have had the power to create lava clones of herself, but yeah, we just can't see for sure. I'm personally leaning more onto the idea of William Dewey being the architect behind the temple statue over Obsidian, mainly because of the fact that this would have definitely made his existence as the founder of Beat City feel a lot more meaningful. I mean, imagine if the guy was the only human in existence who got the opportunity to see Obsidian 1.0 in action. Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this discussion, and I'm really hoping that lots of us stars will be able to find the time to tell us the truth behind the origin of the temple statue, because I'm sure that it's yet another worthy contender to get called out as being one of the darkest secrets of a fallen gem empire.